You are now listening to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
My name is DJ Vince Adams. I absolutely appreciate what the Chicago Clubhouse crew is doing for the city of Chicago.
Hey, young world, what's good? It's your boy Bernard Varian, a.k.a. B Twice.
What up? This is Rasheed Davis, former Chicago Bear wide receiver.
Hey, my name is Lemuel Stinson, a.k.a. Lemonade, formerly of the Chicago Bears.
What's up? My name is C.J. Watson, former Bulls guard and bench farm creator.
This is two-time six-man all-star baller Ricky Deuces Pierce.
What's up, people? This is Chicago radio legend Rick Party, the voice you hear everywhere.
My name is Pee-wee from the movie House Party.
This is Megan Martinez from the Good and Plenty podcast.
Hey, this is Bubba Ball from the Shits podcast.
Hey, this is Nika from One Shot Wellness, repping from the ATL, dropping some drips on that Chi-Town Clubhouse podcast.
This is Sherry, and you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You're now rocking with Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
Where they think they know everything.
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 But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit. But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But honestly, they don't know shit.
Hey, man, I smell something. I smell podcast. The Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Show.
They really don't know shit.
You already know what time it is.
You see this Eddie Jackson jersey right here? Take this.
This dude literally just took my soul.
So I didn't like playing with Brett Favre at all.
You could have waited until the draft if you wanted to look at another quarterback. You didn't have to sign Andy Dalton, who is really nothing but a backup.
Evander Holyfield is 58 years old. What you want to fight a 58-year-old man?
But man, he wants to keep fighting.
Because he want to fight him.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an exhibition.
But yeah, it's an exhibition because
this ain't Drago and Apollo Creed, man. Ain't nobody about to.
Man, Martin and Tommy Hearns was an exhibition. You saw what happened to Martin.
This could hurt.
Thanks, Hayden. Nothing but the best.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, bro, tough for real, man.
Yeah, man. He like tougher than some grown folks I know, man.
That as a coach, your job is to give your players the best opportunity to have success.
Michael Jordan, when he came back at LeBron James' age, he was a straight up nothing.
That is blasphemy on this computer right now.
I'm gonna tell you something. Without Dennis Rodman, I couldn't see them winning like they did those second three championships. I can't see it.
I agree.
And now I'm the voice of SportsCenter on ESPN. Now on SportsCenter tonight, LeBron James and whatever.
Do you guys really coach how exactly to tackle correctly? Because I see it all over the league now. People cannot tackle like they did whenever you guys played. But do you guys practice tackling at all?
What up? What up? What up? The back looks a little. I know. I am not at home. I am actually in Cincinnati for work. Cincinnati not that bad. It's really not that bad. The people are a lot nicer. For example, over here, before somebody bumps into you, they say, "Excuse me." In Chicago, hell no. Hell no. They go do whatever they can to try to get past you. If they bump you, they just bump you. They say, "Oh, my bad." So they're going to bump you first in Chicago. But here, people are really polite. People are really nice. Yeah, so, I'm here for work. I'm not really kicking it. I'm kind of just staying in my room. So this is the background. You know, it's a really nice view. It smells though. It smells outside. But anyway, tonight we have a great podcast. One of the sharpest sports minds, and she does happen to be a lady. But so what? It's a sharp sports mind. Sharp sports mind. Ms. Sharkey. But before we bring her on, I gotta bring in my all-star team, my guys. First up, my dude, the stat man who knows every single stat from the 80s and 90s, basketball and football. My man JB.
What's up, T? JB? In that Cincinnati life, huh?
Man, yeah, man. I'm in the thick of it. I am in the thick of it. Right here is actually, this is Covington, but Cincinnati, like right across the street.
Nice.
And it smells. It smells. But yeah, so I'm like smacking the thick of it. But there's whole tax this as you the bridge. Over here, it's like is significantly lower than when you go over there. So I get my gas over here.
Nice.
Man. How was your weekend, bro?
Good.
Did you
man.
cry over the Bulls?
Not at all. Not at all.
It was kind of to be expected.
I mean, I'm still repping, but
you still wearing the NBA Jam shirt, huh?
I'm still repping trying to pull it out, but you know,
yeah,
that's a whole lot of conversation we got to have about them Bulls, man.
Yeah, that ain't gonna help. Well, let's bring in the second part of the All-Star team. My man who has the foulest mouth in the city. The foulest. Like worse than mine.
That's a good thing.
His name is Foul Mouth. Foul Mouth C.
That is a great thing. How you guys doing tonight?
Foul Mouth C. What's up?
You repping too.
Huh?
I said I see you repping too.
Shit, I only got one more day to rap. Shit, out of that, it's over with.
It's gonna be a wrap.
I am going home. This shit about over with. Put us out our damn misery, man.
Well, some teams didn't win a game, and some teams didn't even make
it. Yeah. Hey, I've been telling people, I told people what was gonna happen if they didn't do certain things.
Draft day is 2 days away. I know we are super charged up for that, and we are going to talk about that with our guest. And we want to bring her in. She's the sports anchor. She was a sports anchor in Milwaukee, and she's a sports anchor here. Like I was saying earlier, one of the sharpest minds I've ever seen on TV talking about sports. You know, I hate when people talk about sports and they don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. I hate that. But she be knowing what she's talking about. I'll be like, yeah, Kaitlin. Yeah. She knows. She and Gabe Ramirez, when they're on with their hair on, they all know what they're talking about. I like watching that. But I don't like watching when people just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, man, come on, man. That doesn't even make sense. But anyway, enough hearing from me. Let's bring her in, Ms. Kaitlin Sharkey. Let me do that again. Ms. Kaitlin Sharkey.
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me. And that was quite the introduction. I've been given a few introductions, but that was probably the realest and the one I appreciate the most because it plays on the knowledge side of things, and sometimes that gets overlooked. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
I'm glad that we could do that. But yeah, you be knowing what you're talking about. You're definitely know what you're talking about. And you be saying it with your chest, too.
I try. I have to tread lightly. Especially being a newcomer to Chicago, especially the last 2 years. I was like, the last year I felt like I could say what I really wanted to say. But then I realized quickly that Bears fans and Bulls fans, I know they're thinking what I'm thinking. And you got to put it in a way where it's like, I'm not dogging the team. I'm never dogging the team. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real. I'm going to be like, this is what needs to be fixed. This needs to be happened. Because I know fans and I know fan bases. We all want to think like these dreams and manifestations in our head. And then you're like, nah, this ain't going to happen this year. And that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't mean I'm talking, shit. Doesn't mean I'm being whatever. It's a good feeling just to be like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And Chicago has such passionate sports fans that I love that.
Yeah. So let's park that real quick because we want to get into you a little bit first, and then we'll revisit that because I've got a question for you in that realm, of which I'm dying to know because let's just say certain analysts get to say certain things and we wonder why.
Yes. No, I mean, I come in from the Wisconsin side of things. I spent my whole career there. I'm from there. I was born and raised. I went to college in Milwaukee. And then the first 7 years of my career, I covered Packers, Bucks, Brewers, Badgers, all things Wisconsin sports. And then 2 years ago, I moved here. And it was when I first announced that I was coming here, everyone was like, how could you? Like, they looked at it like I was Brett Favre leaving, like the ultimate betrayal. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I want to go to Chicago. It's a great city. I've visited, obviously, being so close to Milwaukee. And I wanted to go to a passionate sports city. So it's been fun to be on the other side of the rivalry. But even now, when I meet people, they're like, oh, where are you from? You're a cheesehead? I just love it. I embrace it because now that I cover the Bears and I see that side of it and that fan base, I want good things for the Bears. I want good, I know it's hard to believe for people, but I want good things on both sides. And it's been a blast the last 2 years getting to know a new fan base.
Good. You have a struggle going on right now, Bulls and Bucks.
Yes, which I think, and I was hoping this would be like a rival. It would become a rivalry, and because the Packers-Bears rivalry is obviously so rich in history, and whether or not the Packers have maybe had more wins in the last couple, maybe in the last decade, I wanted Bulls Bucks to become a thing because when I think about basketball in the NBA and rich in history, you don't think Milwaukee Bucks, you think Chicago Bulls. So it was fun to kind of, while I was there in Milwaukee, watch the Bucks become a relevant team, to watch Milwaukee become a basketball city because it just never was. So now I'm hoping it becomes a rivalry. And I know this series hasn't really given us those games or those moments yet where you look back and you're like, oh, this is the beginning of something. But I feel like it will now become, even just having this series, even having both teams in this position, it will be a fun rivalry, hopefully, for the future, especially in the East.
Absolutely. And that takes me all the way back to the days of Terry Cummings, Ricky Pierce, Craig Hodges. At one point in time, I think it was Sidney Moncrief and them boys, where it was a slight, little Bulls, but it was more of Michael Jordan versus the Bucks as opposed to Bulls versus Bucks. But still some good history, good times, and we always can go back to 71, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson winning you guys that first championship. We can always reference that and say that Milwaukee is a young player when it comes to the history of championships and all that, but ongoing, up and coming. Green Bay's got multiple championships, Super Bowls and whatnot. The Brewers had their spell in the 80s and again in the mid to late 90s and then again just recently. So, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, not a team to sleep on, not a town to sleep on. So that rivalry all across, I think, is up and coming. Absolutely.
And it's good for all sports. I think that's what's unique about it, to have, the football rivalry, the basketball rivalry, and the Brewers-Cubs rivalry. There's so much, I've covered countless games at Miller Park it was Miller Park. Now it's American Family Fields, but all the Cubs fans coming in and taking over and, just all of that kind of experience. And I'm like, man, it's cool to see the rivalries hit all the sports because they both have talent and they both have good years and down years, and I think that's cool. That makes a rivalry.
Yeah, definitely with the great fan bases as well, makes it real intriguing. Hopefully, I believe that this Bulls and Bucks rivalry is going to kick off. It's not looking too good this year, but next year.
Yeah. No, but I think the Bulls they're a very likable team, which is not something you always see in the NBA, especially when, all we hear about is the Nets right now and the disaster that they were. I appreciate teams like the Bulls. I appreciate players that they have, and yes, it's not giving us the dramatic series that maybe we wanted, but I think, to me, it's fun to watch people like DeMar DeRozan do things that no one expected them to do this season. And it's fun to watch kind of the pieces work together. But, that was the Bucks for years. And, the Bulls were on the right track. And, it's tough to watch those 20-point beatdowns right now because you're like, they're so far off. But I look back a couple years ago at the Bucks, and I remember when I was in college, you couldn't pay me to go to a Bucks game. I was like, I don't want to go to a Bucks game. They're trash. Like, I think when I was in college, like Gary Payton got a technical, and that was like my fondest memory of a Bucks game. And I'm like, what is this? This is a disaster. And you see how far things have come since then, where the Bulls have the history and they have the right pieces. It's just going to take some time, and it's been fun to watch them though this season, and I'm a huge Zach LaVine fan. I'm a huge DeMar DeRozan fan. So I think they're foundations that's good to have in place.
See, I thought you guys almost had one, be honest, full transparency. Sam Cassell, Ray Allen, Big Dog Ben Robinson. I thought you all had that one locked and stocked.
We should have.
Eastern Conference got a little jagged in Game 5. A couple of calls didn't go the right way. And then it just kind of spiraled. But I was like, man, you guys had a great team that year. And I was just like, whoo, they up and coming. But like you said, that's not your heart out. And then it takes another 5-7 years to just get back to, bar. And then it's like.
And it's fun. But it's fun to watch the rise. And it's even fun to watch the excitement in the city of Chicago to even have the playoff games at the United Center, to see them packed, to see the excitement. And even though they don't go the way they want, but that's how you start. That's the shift in culture. And I think, there was a lot of talk a couple of weeks ago about the Timberwolves over celebrating. And I was talking to Gabe Ramirez on the radio about it. I go, let them celebrate. Like, this is how it happens. Like, You're not going to always be these teams that are just year after year, we're in the playoffs, we're going to take it for granted. Exactly. No, like, let them celebrate. So I think this experience, even if the Bulls didn't get the games they wanted or the wins they wanted here in Chicago, it's the start of something. They don't have to say, oh, it's been 5 years. We did this last year. Guys like Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu getting this playoff experience at such an early part of their career will make a difference down the road.
They have to learn how to win first.
They're going to remember these games and go, man, I remember how terrible that felt.
Right.
Like,
man, I remember when we were getting smacked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Bad News Bears.
Yeah, exactly.
Great segue. Let's talk about these.
I don't want to talk about the Bears just yet, man. I want to know more about Kaitlin. Like, what made you fall in love with sports to take this, this journey? Because we enjoy listening.
True.
To you.
Yes.
Yeah, I was always, since a kid, I loved the news and I loved just watching like morning news and television. And my first internship in college was a news, not sports internship, and I hated it. I was like, I can't do this. This is super depressing. Like, I don't want to like go out on these bad stories. Like, this is just too much. And I played basketball. I played volleyball in high school, so I loved sports. So then I would sneak off into the sports office at the station that I was interning at in Milwaukee. And I would try to hang out with the sports guys and be like, can I go to this Friday football game? And then I was hooked. And then ever since then, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I grew up obviously watching Packers football on Sunday, the Brewers. And like I said, the Bucks were kind of just like an afterthought growing up. But no, I mean, it kind of developed over time. And then as soon as I graduated from UW Milwaukee, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I thought for sure I would not stay in Wisconsin, but then I took 3 different jobs around the state, which were all super valuable. And then 2 years ago I left. So I love it every single day to do this job. I feel really, really lucky.
So was it hard to break in as a woman? Was it hard to break into that?
Absolutely. And I think it's harder when you get to a certain level. So it's like maybe not breaking isn't that hard, because I was like shooting, writing, editing, doing all my own stuff in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, like covering high school football and doing all of these things. I feel like it's a little bit harder now to break from I'm a rookie to I'm a vet. Let me talk. Let me have the opportunity. I can hold my own. Give me the chance. Give me the opportunity to, and I think that's something that women are trying to do in a more active role, do different roles than just be the sideline reporter, do different things than just being like, I can be an analyst. I don't need to be the one that's tossing the questions out. I don't mind it, but it's like kind of adapting to those different roles, I think is more of a challenge now than it was to break in when I was first starting out.
Love when I watch the games and I hear color from Doris Burke, one of my favorites.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then I can remember, as a younger gentleman, watching Lisa Saunders, like you said, on the sideline, and how that Sage Steele and coming up. I used to know Stacey Dales when she stopped playing and came and went right into broadcasting and stuff like that. And it's like, when you love talking shop, we don't see race, we don't see gender, we see sports. And I love that about you because you're very knowledgeable and stuff. And like Terrence said, you say it with your chest, because bringing that energy, right? It's like if you come off, in my opinion, if you come off kind of like passive and reserved, it's like, is she being scripted? Does she really know what she's talking about? And that goes to some of these so-called guys too that's supposed to be active. I'm like, man, I wouldn't talk with you in a barbershop. Like, stop.
No, and I think it's as I've gone about this career, when you realize that like athletes have all these stories to tell, and you're more alike than you are different. And I think that's one thing that fans don't always see. It's like, you're more like this person. You see this player, you see this public figure, that you see this superstar, and that certainly is warranted. But it's understanding their stories, or just like making the small talk that you become invested in their careers and their life and their livelihood. And that's where the passion comes from, because you're like, damn it, I want you to do well because I know you as a person and I respect you as a person. I'm trying to grind. I'm trying to make something of myself. They're trying to do the same thing on a much larger scale, obviously. But I think it's that understanding that we all love the same thing. We all love watching sports, consuming sports, and they love playing sports. So it's one of those things where you just feel like I'm just lucky to be on the journey with them. And I think that's where the passion comes from, because I'm like, damn it, I want them to do well. I want them, it doesn't matter who they play for or whatever. You just want to see them succeed. And I think that's a big part of it.
Absolutely. It's definitely symbiotic in nature. So it just goes hand in hand.
So how was the adjustment from moving from small Milwaukee to the big city in the Chi?
I loved it. I mean, I moved here probably in April of 2020. So the world had just shut down. Yeah. So my first day of work, they were basically like, you can't come in the studio. Here's the equipment, broadcast from home. And I broadcast from home for 13 months from my small apartment in the Loop, because I was dumb and was like, where could I live? I want to be close to work. Then I never went into work. So I was in the Loop, like kicking it. It was quiet. There's no one around. But then I got to, once the city opened up and I got to go to games and practices, and even just being, I walked around so much, and I loved it. And now I feel like I'm finally getting to enjoy Chicago for what it is, and the different neighborhoods and personalities and people, and the diversity is one of the things that I just love. I mean, you don't get that in Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee. It's home. But you just don't get that kind of side of things. So I love it. And people have been very welcoming. And, I'm always going to get crap for being from Wisconsin, especially when it comes to sports. But
yeah, definitely.
But like for the most part, like everyone has been very welcoming, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, definitely.
Can we talk about football now, JB? please?
Yes, we can talk about football, Terrence.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to bore Kaitlin with what's going on here, but I have my reservations, Kaitlin.
I want to know how you guys are feeling, like fan base, like how you feeling about this team? Because I'm getting mixed reviews, and I'm still kind of feeling.
It's still the unknown.
Yeah,
it's the unknown when you having the team that you have, of course, with the Bears, with the history that we've gone and had here, and also you got a new regime here, and nobody knows them. It's not like these are guys that had previous. You know what I'm saying? They did these roles at previous stops. You know, Eberflus has never been a head coach before. Foles has never been a GM before. So everybody in the city, they seeing what's going on. They're not used to it because we're not really used to fully rebuilding, you know, and tearing it all down, having this massive amount of salary cap for next year. And then basically this year is like, okay, we're Chicago. We big market. Why are we sitting up here basically going to throw this season away? And I think that's what a lot of fans are at. Like, why are we throwing this season away, you know, to look forward to the future? That doesn't happen often because with the GMs that we've had here, we haven't really did a total tear down before. We've gone and done like, you know, patchwork. So the unknown is what's killing us right now because we don't know what this man is going to do. We don't know what they're going to be able to do on offense. Nobody knows exactly what it is that they're going to draft either because everything is kept so hush-hush. Like they're not, you know, telling us any of their plans. So we all just waiting to see. And it's got everybody in the city on edge right now because to be honest with you, as the old saying says, the Chicago Cubs and White Sox divide us. The Bears unite us.
I like that. I like that.
But yeah, everything to piggyback off of what Chris was saying, everything is like a big question mark. The whole teardown was Khalil Mack, Tariq Cohen, Eddie Goldman. Then you said, oh shit, they tearing it off. So that was the massive teardown. Now Ryan Poles is trying to clean up, and that's why he's giving these prove it deals. Prove it. This 1 year deal for $700,000. Prove it. You show me you need to stay here, Al Kadim. Show me you want to stay here, Justin Jones. Show me. So right now it's kind of a developmental year. We're not going to, you know, we're probably not going to go to the playoffs. Definitely not going any further than the first round if we do. But you know, it's we kind of want Justin Fields to develop, even though we're not really putting any weapons by him. But you know, Ryan Poles said he wants to build through the draft. So I'm hoping that that first pick is going to be a wide receiver.
Yeah,
we've kind of tried to pass the line a little bit. The line is important because without a line, Justin ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
No, and I feel like this is such a big year for Justin, and I think as much as there's unknown for a lot of positions and the team as a whole, it shouldn't be for Justin. And I know that people are, you know, he's going to have a little bit more leeway because it's a new offense. Luke Getsy coming to town and just a new everything for him. But his skill set at its raw and most genuine should be there. And he's already been through every ups and down that you can imagine someone to have in their rookie year, injuries included, good games, really bad games. So he's seen it all. So now to me, it's kind of like, all right, what can he do? The fact that he's changing some of his techniques, the fact that, you know, some of the guys are talking about how they're excited to see him in this new looking offense, I think is promising. Yeah. Is it going to be pretty off the bat? No, because like you mentioned, he needs people around him. He needs an offense around him. But to me, I look at like, it was so bad with what it was and the scheme that they were calling and everything. It was such a disaster. He has time to install it. There's no quarterback competitions. Is Andy Dalton going to play? Like, there's none of that this year. And I think that's a big step, especially mentally for somebody like Justin Fields. So yeah, there's a lot of question marks, and I laughed today listening to Ryan Poles talk about how it's like HGTV, like a fixer-upper. Like, it's not a rebuild. It's like, oh, we need some new countertops over there. And I'm like, you need a lot of countertops, okay?
Right.
Like, there's a lot
Exactly.
of, like, I really think highly of Ryan Poles. I met him and Ian Cunningham, the assistant GM, at Northwestern Pro Day, and they were fantastic. And they want to do it right. And I know they know the pressure and the expectation that the Chicago Bears and the reputation the franchise has, and they want to do well. Eberflus, it's one of those things you're like, we're not going to know until they get out there, and that's a lot of those prove it guys as well. So there's a lot of question marks remaining, but to me, this is such a huge year for Justin Fields. I just hope they can give him a line to succeed, and that he's got his guy Mooney, and that's his, that's his like safety, his security blanket. I feel like it'll be a big part of it for him. But and David Montgomery too. Like, I feel like they have solid pieces. It's always in like a different change and reaction when you lose that star power. I mean, anytime a Khalil Mack leaves your team, whether he's not the same Khalil Mack as he was, doesn't matter. He's still, is defense is kind of planning to have Allen Robinson on the field. That makes a difference. Now that he's not there, is Mooney getting all that attention? So there's, you look at those guys and they're like, oh, their numbers weren't there, their production's not there. Yes, that may be true, but their names were there and teams knew that. And I think anytime you're kind of working against big name guys, it's going to make a difference. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle all that.
True. I maintain I'm staying cautiously optimistic, but I'm still like peeking behind closed doors, because when I hear, I listen for double talk. I listen for that cookie cutter type of rhetoric that just goes out to the media and everything, and to the public. And it's like, yeah, we're expecting Justin to take that second year big step, but are we really just looking for Justin to take that step? Or are we looking for them to put Justin in a position to take that step? Because when you don't have the star power, it makes Justin's job a little bit more difficult. Then you have a first-time offensive coordinator who's never called a play. So now when situational football comes into play, how do we know he's going to make the right call? Is it Justin's fault if he doesn't execute on a 3rd and 2 when he calls a bubble screen as opposed to giving it to Montgomery? Things like that, of where I say, rookie head coach, rookie OC, rookie special teams. The last time the DC was a DC, they were ranked 30th. Last time he was a DC. Like, it's a lot of things that are going into this season that are like, let's pump the brakes on just Justin right now, because he's really not put in the greatest position for success. Yes, you have Mooney, but like you said, Kaitlin, you start keying on Mooney, who else do you really have?
Right.
We got our new wide receiver down in Florida doing donuts. I don't know what the hell's that guy's problem. Like, come on, man. Like, you really
it confused me. I'm like, of all things, what is he doing?
That's what you do. Like, come to an OTA, get some rep with your QB, man. Like, what are we doing?
I think he was trying to teach his son how to do that too, because I think he had a kid in there with him. So I don't know.
First of all, that's like negligent. So no, none of that. Not a good idea. And then it's like you're building the line, and line is a tricky position. We all know. I love that we've got more depth. I love some of the last signings we've made. I like the fact that earlier today it was confirmed that Larry Borum and can't think of his name. Tevin Jenkins have switched, so that will come into play. But I'm still looking at Roquan needs some help on the left side. I'm still wondering, are we edge rusher by committee now on that right side? What are we really doing? We have a new safety, but like, is he just there as a name, or is he really going to cover up Eddie Jackson's mistakes?
No.
It's still a lot of questions, because right now this is Justin's rookie year all over again.
Yeah.
And sometimes the best aid for a rookie quarterback, strong running game, good tight end, good defense. And I'm really worried, because we have a lot of holes. They can talk this retool, this patchwork. No, it's too many holes just to say plug and play. And I don't really think we're going to make the playoffs. I'm going on record. I have us no more than 5 or 6 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like last year, they had their defense. Is Robert Quinn going to put up the numbers that he did last year? Highly unlikely, if he's even on the team when the season starts. So it's one of those. Yeah, like so. At least they had their defense, and like I remember, when a team loses 6 in a row, and you have to do an interview, a post-game interview, regardless of what the score is, you're in your head going, okay, what can I focus on? What was good? I always had the defense. Give me a defensive guy. Give me a Travis Gibson who had a good game that, is kind of rising up the ranks. Give me Thomas Graham Jr. making his first. I always kind of went to the defense. They were like my safety net for like the bright spot. So now I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, now they don't have that same defense. So like, that's the part that worries me a little bit. That secondary worries me a little bit. And I think those are the things that, yeah.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what you said earlier when you were talking about different players and like the scouting reports. Like I know we had a few shows back where we were talking about, I was talking about Khalil Mack or whatnot. I said, now you got a guy like Travis Gibson. Everybody's like, oh, Travis Gibson, he had a good year. I said, yeah, but when he's not on a scouting report, now your ass is on the scouting report. So now let's see how you're going to play now, since teams are sitting up there game planning for you. Because you got 7 sacks and that's a good job, but you weren't on nobody's scouting report. You weren't even the 5th guy they were thinking about. They were thinking about Eddie Jackson. They were thinking about Roquan. They were thinking about Eddie Goldman. They were thinking about Quinn. They were thinking about Mack. They're not thinking about you.
Why would they think about Eddie Jackson, man? Why would they think?
Well, we know you can't stand Eddie Jackson. Unfortunately, Eddie Jackson did do good his first 2 years.
I like Eddie. I know he took a lot of heat, but I always respected that he like stood up and was like, yeah, this is not good.
Yeah.
So I gave him credit for that, because there was a lot of guys ducking us last year that were like, I'm not talking about. I'm like, okay, we know, but Eddie.
Terrence is more worried because Eddie is concerned about his cereal sales instead of
and I don't think they're very good. Have you had that cereal?
I can't find them, but I saw they were on sale at Walmart.
I've never seen them before. I never seen them in any store.
Go to Mariano. They give them to you.
They were like $1, Chris, for like the family size.
Hey, T, how many boxes do you got?
Man,
how many boxes do you have left?
One a long time ago, and I burnt it with the jersey. That jersey is never coming back unless he comes back. If Eddie Jackson, if he can bring back old Eddie Jackson, I would love to go get a number 4 jersey. That one was 39 anyway, but I would love to go get a number 4 jersey. I want to feel good wearing it. And now I would not feel good wearing that jersey. Because but they have to get strong safety to compliment him. They have to get strong safety to compliment him.
That's what we're talking about.
That's why, JB, I think your the first pick that you said, what?
Oh, well, don't spring it on her yet. Don't spring it on her yet. I want it to be a surprise for her.
But that's why I think he would be a good pick. Not necessarily at 39. Hopefully he will be there later. But they need to get that strong safety who's not scared to hit somebody, because Eddie Jackson is. At least that's the way it seems. It seems like he's scared to hit.
So, Kaitlin, I got one more question before we get into this draft stuff, which is very important. Remember, I told you I was going to circle back. When you're doing your interviews and your questions, are you designing those questions around the cookie cutter responses that you normally get, or are you trying to like make some thought-provoking comment or even an assessment where you kind of have to make them tell the truth?
Yeah, I mean, you're on a thin line. So you know what went wrong. You know they know what went wrong. So, you know, I've learned quickly. Fans at home are thinking, ask this question, like, especially if a player like messed up, right? They're like, ask what happened on this. You cannot open with that. Like, you cannot open a post-game interview with like, you really blew it on 3rd and 2 here. Like,
right.
like you,
great
like,
job, coach.
these men will not respond well to that. Like, you have to like kind of slip it in there in the 2nd or 3rd question. So a lot of times, I mean, you can read their body language. You can kind of read where they're at. And if it's been a rough stretch of games, I focus on like something they did well personally. And a lot of times you can see the emotion on their face, and to open up with just like, I know that was hard. That was tough. Or that one hurt. That was brutal.
Hey, Silky D.
That's
Dennis McKinnon, 85
I love
Bears.
it. I
Get
love
it back,
that.
D. Put Dennis in that.
The serial comment. I hope heartbreak's not. But yeah, it's focusing on what went right, and then the players that, you know, they know I saw what we all saw, and there's a way to ask the question where it doesn't, you know, they'll shut down.
Who was your hardest to get? Because I have a friend who's also we have a friend, Herb Howard.
Yeah,
some of the guys like I was told like Sean Desai was kind of like a mute. Like he really didn't want to give you too much.
I mean, they never give us anything. Coaches and coordinators are never going to give you a lot of content to begin with. Which always made me laugh because, and no disrespect to Matt Nagy, he's moved on. I wish him the best. But like, they'd be so secretive, and I would be sitting there like, who are they keeping these secrets? No one's trying to steal these secrets. Like, it's not working. They've lost 6 in a row.
Nobody wants your game plan, Maggie.
Well, the thing is this, Kaitlin, you got to know the whys.
Yeah.
What are the whys? And once you know what the whys are, then you know where you're at.
I never knew the why. Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be like things like that. I'm like, doesn't make sense. But the players usually, you know, you can pull enough out of them. But it's tough. I mean, you lose 5 straight games. The last thing you want to do after a blowout loss is come talk to me. I get it. I understand that. Like, I wouldn't want to talk to me either after a game like that. So I respect and I appreciate, and I'm thankful for the players that would come consistently and talk to me post game.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when you were talking earlier, we were talking about Justin Fields and the pressure that he's going to have. Unfortunately, the NFL wins and losses comes down to the quarterback. And he's going to take a brunt of the criticism that happens when they lose games this year. God, I'm praying that they don't, but he's going to take a lot of it. And that's when certain people in the media, and like I was telling guys earlier, they're starting to slowly use him as a scapegoat. First, because even last year, everybody was sitting there talking about his mechanics with his delivery. His delivery was so long, and I was like, oh, here it comes. So they already going ahead and trying to start this up now. So if he does fail, they got a long list of reasons why he failed. And the media, unfortunately, eats that up. And these guys, Eberflus, Pose, you know, they come from organizations, but they don't come from a big city organization. And dealing with the media, like we're the 3rd largest media in the U.S. You guys gonna eat their ass up if they come in there talking that crazy ass bullshit.
Yeah, and we know, like, there was many times I'm like, it's not Justin that's making that decision to throw it when you can run David Montgomery for 2 yards at the goal line. Like, what are we doing? That's not on Justin. So no matter what you say, I don't even want to hear it. Like, there are times I wanted to chuck my laptop. I think it was Minnesota. And I just wanted to just be like, this is all the coaching staff and the play calling. This has nothing to do. If he can't hand it off for a 2-yard rush, you don't trust your running back. It's one of those.
He didn't come here to run the eye.
Yeah.
He didn't come here to do that.
No, not at all.
Hey, absolutely. First of all, the only why we know is in his last name. Secondly, to answer your question, Chris, and you know this is what I do. I can show you the video footage where he's almost step in toe with Patrick Mahomes' delivery, and that guy's doing pretty damn good. That guy's pretty okay. So I'm not going to worry about his so-called. It's not like he's got the Byron Leftwich wind up catapult, you know. So if that's the only thing that you want to critique this guy and break him down, I'm not mad, because I also see him first in line and then last to leave. That's what I look for. And that's what I want to see out of my quarterback. Don't give me a lot of excuses, but also give him some praise when he's doing what he's supposed to do. Like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And for us to be in a large market, we expect some level of success.
As you should.
Success, Kaitlin, as you know, with success, a certain degree of transparency comes with that as well. And we're not seeing the transparency yet because, like Chris said, we don't know these guys. We don't know what they want. We don't know their tendencies. We don't know what they like. But guess what? We're going to find out real soon, because in my opinion, the way that Ryan Poles drafts this year with those picks is going to be very telling for how he goes about the future.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a real good idea in this draft what kind of front office we have. And I think that's exciting because, you know, people are like, well, they don't have enough draft capital. There's so many people that are like, who should they draft? And what it's like, it's not like the Bears are one player away that, you know, they need. Yeah. So it's like, you can't like freak out. Right. Like, you can't freak out. Like, the LA Rams are, you know, doing Hollywood productions about their draft.
You saw that? Oh my God. Like,
crazy. That's what happens when you don't have to worry about the draft.
Mitch Kroenke, like, my God.
Was Tyrese in that? I'm pretty sure Tyrese was in the video. So I'm thinking, like, that just shows where the Rams are, where the Bears are. Like, yes, this draft is serious, but it's more about getting the right players, getting the right depth, and then building it within. So everyone's always at, like, who should they draft at 30? I'm like, it depends there's so many different variables. They just need to hit the target positions and find the most value in the players and then go from there. Like, don't overthink it. Like, yeah, there's always flashy names on the board. There's always 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out that way. So they just need to build. They need to get bodies in there and develop players, and it'll work out.
Well, let's put you on the clock. You the GM. And with the 38th pick in the second round of the NFL draft,
39.
Who is Cat picking?
Yeah, I'm about to say 39, Chris.
What, 39? 38? 30? No, that's right, the 48th, 39th pick. That's that number. That's T Nick number right there, number 39. He ain't gonna burn that number. But anyway. With the 39th pick, who are you selecting?
I'm not player specific because it can change so much, but it better be a really, really good wide receiver. If it's not, I need a defensive back. I need some help for our guy Eddie Jack. Which
one? You need a safety or you need the cornerback?
You need a safety. You need a safety. I just feel like I like Jalen, so they're good. They're okay. I feel like in that position, they need help. Like, everyone's like, who's Justin Fields going to throw the ball to? And I understand that's an absolute concern. But if they're kind of like, is he a good receiver? Can he make an immediate impact? If he can't, get him out for somebody that can make an immediate impact as a safety. Because we don't want to watch Eddie Jackson get burned all season. So that's Yeah, that's where they start, and then offensive linemen, of course, defensive players. But yeah, I mean, he needs wide receivers. I know it's like, oh, it's the easy choice, and I think Poles will do a good job of figuring it out. Their draft board is set. They know what they want. Don't make any crazy moves. Don't, at least we can take, satisfaction in the fact that they're not going to do something crazy and draft like a backup quarterback. They're not going to do anything crazy that way.
Better not.
God, I hope not.
The city will burn to the ground.
You ain't lying. It'd be the third city.
So just curious, who would you pick with the 48th pick? You said safety, so I'm going to.
I go wide receiver. Yeah,
wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. Wide receiver for sure. Yeah, and then the rest, those, because linemen, I feel like, are something you can get late in the draft. It's not something, but your speed guys, your your athletic freaks that are just like jump off the page at how good they are. Those are coming, in those positions. So I think, I feel like a safety. I'm going safety over wide receiver first. If it was me, because
go on, drop it.
Yeah.
Let me
I don't know if he can drop it with that connection back there.
Chris, I know we different on this, but
y'all have
we definitely differ. We differ because with me and JB, we go back and forth with this all the time. My whole thing was this: your defense. Yeah, that's JB's picks.
Okay. I like this.
Yeah, see, me and JB, we go back and forth all the time about what position at the best. I say wide receiver first because the whole thing was that Justin Fields is the most important player. So you need to sit up there and get him with some receivers. You really don't have none because, outside of Mooney, Pringle, he was all right, but he was maybe the 4th or 5th wide receiver over there. St. Brown, even though I liked him coming out of Notre Dame, the guy, he really, you would know more than we would.
I like St. Brown. I think it's a good signing. He just needs a shot. I feel like he was so buried in the depth chart, which is a good problem to have if you're the Packers. But I think it's going to be a good fit, a good complement. And Byron, if he gets his mind right, and he should be in a good position.
Right, stop doing donuts and shit.
See, Chris, what I want you all to understand is, like Kaitlin is talking about, at that safety position, and I'm not calling him these guys, but if he's of that ilk, if you have a chance to draft the next Jamal Adams, Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed at that pick, you grab him. That's 10 to 12 years. Perennial all-star, possible Hall of Famer, game changer. That's generational talent that you just can't pass up.
Yeah, but what happened if one of those wide receivers fall? Because those guys,
so many wide receivers.
Yeah, I was going to say the chances are that a really good wide receiver falls are much higher, I feel like, than that position. There's a lot of good wide receivers.
Well, this is my thing. Safety, strong safety. Free safety to me is more important than a strong safety in the NFL. And you trying to get a strong safety, you're gonna take a strong safety that has somebody that you can possibly get in the back, because for the simple fact, the strong safety, mostly those guys are in the box safeties. They in there to help with the run support and all that. They're not too many. Like, you can't name me 5 good cover strong safeties. Those are guys that's in the box.
Too. Think about that. That's why you need that.
So you think a free safety is more important than the strong safety?
Yeah, I think a free safety is more important. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
that's the guy. That's the guy that's going to be the playmaker. That's the guy that's going to be picking up the ball. The strong safety is that's what he is. He's strong. He's the in the box safety.
You're going traditional strong safety. You got to think about how the Tampa 2 is ran.
I'm not worried about. Look here, we just tore down this whole damn team, and the whole reason why we tore this damn team down was to help the goddamn quarterback. So we gonna go get that damn quarterback some damn help. I don't care about defense. You gone and tore the damn defense up already. You got rid of Matt. Your head's trying to get rid of Quinn. Goldman ass gone. We got a whole new front four.
See what I deal with, Kaitlin?
Get that boy some damn help. Get him some damn wide receivers, man.
I can feel the pain coming out.
Yeah, it hurts.
But again,
it hurts.
If you look, I'm still giving him a top wide receiver prospect and a wide receiver that he's played with previously when he was in Georgia. They came up together.
And let's count on Cole Kmet doing a little bit more now that he's developing a little bit more. He's put on a lot of he's got to do something. He's got to do something because he's not really bringing it. So this is his do or die.
Oh, he definitely. I wanted the other Notre Dame guy that's over there in Pittsburgh. That's who I wanted.
Yeah,
and that's why in the fifth round, the late fifth round, I selected Rucker because what does he have? Rapport with Justin Fields and great production. Like, we got to think. We got to think outside of the box of what you all think is norm.
He only played with him one season. Justin wasn't there. It wasn't like he was at Ohio State. Well, Rucker was, yeah.
He was at Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm thinking about when you said about Pickens.
He played with Pickens at Georgia. They came up together.
Man, they didn't play together.
They actually did. Remember, there's a lot of practices going on when it's 152 people on the team.
But you're talking about one season.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
Yeah. I'm excited.
This is what happens when you run into Bears fans, Kaitlin. This is what we do.
I love it. I'm excited to get to the point where we can talk about what they decided, because we're all sitting here losing our minds. What are they going to do? I don't know if they know exactly how it's going to go yet. There's a million different scenarios in their mind, and they have a board for all of it. And I think it's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be fun to watch, because last year you kind of were just waiting, don't just blow up the whole team. You were just afraid that everything bad was going to happen. This year it's a little different.
I've been a Bears fan for so long. I don't drink. I never had a drink before a day in my life. And they've gone millions of times, only got me this damn close from having a drink. That's why they call them, Chicago sports will give you a heart attack. Literally. They going to gave their coaches a heart attack, Mike Dicker. This is what we go through.
Yeah.
All the time.
You guys are the best, though.
Welcome to Chicago.
I love the. I appreciate the investment. Yes, I appreciate the investment, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out, guys.
We just need them to draft.
So, Miss Sharkey, you gotta run.
Yeah, this is my last night in my apartment.
Oh, you said that too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you moving tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm moving spots. So, that whole contract life, and I'm like, okay, well, let's pack it all up. So, you guys, I'll remember my last night here. This is special.
Definitely.
Okay. And just for the fans, tell them where they can find you.
Oh, yes. At K Rose Sharkey on Instagram and Twitter. That's pretty much all I do. I'm not really doing any other socials, but I'm excited to watch the draft and then reconvene with so many fans and see. I'll follow you guys all on Twitter, because I know you'll be.
Oh yeah.
I want to see the opinions. I want to hear what's going on when they make. As long as they don't, draft a, punter in the first.
I just hope they don't get sucked up going lineman.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. No. Thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast, and I love your passion.
We want you to come back now.
Please have me. This was so fun. This was one of the more laid back chats that I appreciate. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no cookie cutter stuff around here.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I get to say things that I can't always say
Exactly. Feel free.
I love that.
We'll be following and supporting as always. Thank you so much.
Always.
That is exactly
you guys have
what this podcast is for. Say whatever the hell
I love that. You guys do a great job. So I'll see you down the road.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Kaitlin.
Hey, that was great.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. she's wonderful, man.
Yeah. She's definitely insightful.
Absolutely. I love her. You see our first three picks were the same.
Look at this one. Come on, them first three picks.
But that's what I'm saying. If you all just pay attention and listen.
Is acting up.
Yeah, your internet is jacked up. You see how they hijack your ass over there in Cincinnati?
They knew you came in there with that Chicago IP address.
Uh-huh.
You came in there with that Chicago IP address. They're doing you dirty.
That's what it did.
Yeah. You better start talking about some Bengals or some shit.
You beat the Bengals. Oh, wait, stop.
Yeah, you better talk about the Bengals, damn it, because otherwise.
Oh, man, this is horrible.
But,
yeah.
So, Foulmouth, I wanted to bring something to your attention because you did mention you hold on.
You can't even see me?
I can see you. You just froze like still photo from that 18.
You like this, like.
But real fuzzy. But Chris, what is it that you actually are not sold on with George Pickens personally? I have to ask that because I have a list. I did my due diligence of who will realistically and logically be available at 39 for the Bears. Everybody be like, oh man, draft Chris Olave. People, he ain't gonna be there. Jameson Williams, okay, he coming off the ACL. He ain't gonna be there. Jalen Waddle did the same thing. He was gone. Yeah. So let's keep it realistic. Let's look at some people that are gonna be here. So I'm gonna say the 5 names in the order that I have, and I want you guys' response. So I had George Pickens first. They need a bigger body. He's really good on 50-50 balls. 6'3", 4.4740, right? I also like Jahan Dotson. In some mocks, he's going to Kansas City in, I think that was 23-24 or 27-28, I can't remember. And in others, he falls to the second round because of the emergence of Treylon Burke in him. 5'11", 4.4340. Complete route tree. I know you sold on hype, but he's a complete route tree of which the Bears have not had in quite some time. Third, I have graded Christian Watson, who you and I both love at 6'5" with that 4.3640. But again, he's more of a project wide receiver because he does not have the complete route tree. But I love the jump ball aspects. I love the 50-50 ball, as we always say, is most important. Sometimes your receiver has to help you make them plays. Okay. Fourth, I have a guy that I don't think you two sold on, Sky Moore. And the reason I said Sky Moore is because although he came from Wyoming Mountain West, 5'10", 4.40, he's like another Darnell Mooney. Whereas if you feel Justin had some rapport with Mooney, showing you that he has no problem throwing to shorter receivers that can run a route tree and have speed, right? And then, of course, I had John Mechie, if he's still available, from Alabama, who did very, very well, 6 feet, 4.4840. And then, as you saw later in the 6th round, I had Tyquan Thornton, 6'3", 4.28 guy. Yeah. Possibly punt returner, possibly somebody that can help us on when we go 5 wide and he's lined up with a safety, as you like to say. So of those guys I named, they're still at number 48. There's still some very high quality wide receivers left at that position.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the guys that you got on there, depending on whose mock draft you go by, they might be gone. And that
I took an average of 3, which is where
what I was thinking. Some of those guys are not going to be there.
Yeah, either.
The only one you got off the average of the 3 mock draft, I did Kuipers, I did NFL, and I did Tom McShay. So I just took the average of those 3 to come up with that because 2 of them had Jahan
Dotson gone, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, but the other one had him fall so significant that it was like, oh, if it does cycle around, those other teams between 33 and 39 don't need a receiver.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like me, I'm big right now with the Bears. I'm big on hype, and we need that because we can't keep going into the season with these short guys. And I get it, you know what I'm saying, great route runners and whatnot. But the Bears need someone because we don't know what St. Brown's going to give us. Like, that's why I went and I talked to Kaitlin, and I wanted to see, because since she had covered the Green Bay Packers, to see what was really going on there, that us Bears fans that we are not privy to know. And like she said, it was all about a numbers thing, because like I said, I loved them. I loved them coming out of Notre Dame. But unfortunately, he didn't really get a chance to prove himself in Green Bay. So we really don't know what he's going to do here in Chicago, if he will even get an opportunity. That's why I much rather go with the Pickens or the Watson.
Pause. Let me ask you this, though. Because we know the Notre Dame lineage, we watched him. We know what he did. Very, very Chase Claypool-esque, would you say?
Yeah.
Now, to me, it's a little bit more telling that Randall Cobb, they brought back. They always say Alan Lazard was just some tiny. They say MVS only could get hit on a deep ball, but he's 60-40 on the catching. Something is not right with me that particular guy at 6'5" running a 4.3 can't get on the field.
Well,
not just the numbers game. Because Randall Cobb got hurt. There was plenty of opportunity. They elected to go double tight.
Well, like I said, it all depends. We've gone and had about 3 or 4 guests on here, and they've all gone and told us, especially our boy Brandon Lloyd and Rucker. They told us about the NFL.
True.
And how easily you can go into the doghouse just for basically doing nothing.
Yeah.
And we don't know if that's a situation there. One thing we got to remember, who was his quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers is the ultimate diva. If he don't like you, he ain't going to pass you the ball. He the dude that runs Green Bay.
Agreed.
So,
but I'm not against giving Equanimous a shot. What I'm saying to you is, to me, it was telling why he didn't play, be it posturing, be it attitude, be it lack of a route tree, be it production, whatever it was. I don't know. But
maybe he hit on Aaron Rodgers' fiance. Who knows?
But maybe, right? Maybe he does get a chance here. 2 shots. I'm not saying he's going to have 88 catches, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. I'm hope that would be lovely if he did.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm saying just because of what happened in Green Bay doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a shot here. But what I'm saying is I do have my antennas up because it's like, okay, wait a minute now. Arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of our time, and he couldn't get on the field with him.
Yeah, but that's Aaron Rodgers.
Which we know Aaron Rodgers is always complaining for receivers.
Well, Aaron Rodgers blames everybody but his damn self anyway. So that right there gives me no merit at all. He claims that he don't trust this guy. He claims he don't trust that guy.
But think it's telling. He'd rather throw an out route with Devontae Adams with 2 people on him than throw a wide open corner route when St. Brown is actually on the field. To me, that's saying he wasn't even looking at the man's direction.
That's Aaron Rodgers because he don't trust him. It's all about trust with him.
That's my point. So maybe, just maybe, Justin can get some rapport and some trust with this guy, and possibly we have a diamond in the rough.
I hope so.
Speaking of rapport and trust, what do you think the chances are that he can meet up with his old teammate Chris Olave?
Chris Olave is not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You don't think he'll be available at 39?
Olave will be the first or second receiver off the board. First or second receiver.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Right. And because remember, Garrett Wilson was a dog too. That's his running mate in Ohio State.
Right.
Like he's between these 3 names: Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Drake London. In any order, those are 1, 2, and 3.
So those 3 are gonna be gone. Those are the first 3 gone.
The first 3 receivers off the board, with a dark horse being Jameson Williams. But remember, he was hurt. He was hurt. He had an ACL. He got hurt. Matter of fact, he got hurt in the national championship game, if I'm not mistaken, against Georgia. But with that being said, if you have a Christian Watson available, if you have a Jahan Dotson available, if you have a George Pickens available, these are still top talent prospects. It's not like, okay, the difference between Chris Olave and the difference between Christian Watson isn't like this. It's like this. And with proper coaching, who knows? A George Pickens might be better fit for what Eberflus and the Bears try to do.
It could be.
Did you see that bad seed that somebody planted about George Pickens?
I did, and that's why I said it never fails. Anytime somebody get ready to come with us with any notoriety, he's got an attitude problem.
Right.
I said, you know what? So I embraced that comment. I made a comment on Facebook. Check it out. I said, what wide receiver doesn't have an attitude problem? They're all divas. They want the damn ball like Keyshawn Johnson books it.
Look,
give me a Bill Wilson attitude as an edge. I want the dude with some attitude and some edge. Hey, Justin, we got this.
Give
ball.
me
Throw me the ball.
Give me Antonio Brown. Give me him. Give me
Throw me
that
the ball.
attitude.
Throw me the ball. But I'm not going to sit up here because think about it. All through Georgia winning the SEC championship, all through Georgia national, you didn't hear anything bad about George Pickens. All you heard was, oh my God, look at Carl Pickens' son. What great lineage, what great genes he came from. Oh my God, he's a go-getter. He'll jump up and grab. He's a big body. Everything was all positive until now.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what we need. We need big go-getters.
On the Bengals radar and was like, oh, he's going to play for his Pop's old team. We wouldn't have heard none of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we need. We need the big body wide receivers. Like I said, we need someone that's going to go up there and be able to catch those 50-50 balls. Every ball that Justin throws is not going to be on target, and you need a guy with a big catch radius that can sit up there and come down with those catches.
Number one. Number one in deep throw accuracy, by the way.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. You know, but you need those big body wide receivers. That's why I'm not big right now on getting the guys that will more likely be slot wide receivers. You know, I'm on a guy that's got some height, got a big catch radius, someone that's physical, because you're going to be going against physical corners in the NFL. You know, even Mooney, he's gone and gotten bigger since his rookie year, but he still struggles a little bit with the jam on the line. You know, he's still a smaller wide receiver. Pringle ain't too much bigger. And you got St. Brown, and then after that, you don't have nobody. So if they get one or two big wide receivers, I would like it.
I think so. And Frank, to answer your question, the only thing, I'm a Michigan State fan, so I watched David Bell torch us. And Chris, you watched that game where he actually, Dax Hill had to go and grab him on the outside because he was torching y'all too.
No, we didn't play him.
Yeah, you did. That last year, not last year, the year before last, you absolutely did play Purdue. Yes, you did. I saw the highlights.
Year before last? What are you talking about, the 2020?
I saw the highlights.
We didn't play him. Not 2020.
Or maybe it was 2019, but I know I saw him
might have been 20. Yeah.
Against Michigan.
Yeah, it might have been 2019, but it wasn't 2020.
Okay,
yeah,
2019, because they showed the thing that they showed was he has a 4.6 40, but his game speed, he doesn't get caught from behind.
Yeah, his game speed is different.
That's what they were showing, and they showed the different teams. They showed the Spartan helmet, they showed the Michigan helmet, they showed the Minnesota helmet, they showed Indiana. Like I was just looking at the different people in his highlights that he was running past throughout his career.
Yeah.
But
so
let
me ask y'all this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask y'all this. You all think Darnell Mooney is entrenched in that number one wide receiver spot?
Absolutely not. No.
So then
he might be this year.
So with that being said, do you think that 39th pick is definitely going to be a wide receiver who compete for that number one spot?
Well, it depends, in my opinion, on what do you consider in the number one spot, because just because you're a number one doesn't mean you're outside left, outside right. Cooper Kupp is a number one, and he plays a lot of slot. You
got to think about your wants. You got to think about your wants. And it's what Chris just said. You want that big target. You want no more little dudes. You want that big target that has big ratings.
You're right, but like I wanted to say earlier too, part of the problem, Chris, DBs are going back and getting bigger, like back with the Bobby Taylors and stuff. DBs are now 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". They coming back around with those taller, faster, longer DBs as well. So obviously that makes an impact. But with a guy like Darnell Mooney, he can be at the slot and be your number one receiver. He can be moved outside. The only thing to me that's going to turn him like to a true number two, in essence, maybe backside or whatever, is if you get one of these dominant guys. Like if you remember when we had Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey, although Brandon was labeled the number one, hell, they was what? They was interchangeable. 50-50, go get it. Brandon Marshall, give me the 100 catches. Bam. Alshon up top. Give me the touchdown. Give me the 50-50 ball. So if you get one of those guys that can move around, see, gone is the day of football where like that one receiver just stays to your left the whole game. No, they're going to move around. A guy like Stephon Diggs, if you notice, moves around. A guy like Deebo Samuels, who, in my opinion, is a number one receiver. Hell, he plays running back sometimes. He moves around. So a number one receiver by trade now to me is not just where you line up. It's, are you the focal point of your offense? Are you your quarterback's number one read, number one target? That's what I look at it now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do believe like there's a cornerback that I'm actually very intrigued with in this draft, and he's going to be around when we draft him. And that's the kid. I think his name is Tyreek Wooten. I think he's from the University of Texas, San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
sixth.
Huh?
You talking about early fifth?
This shit, hell, yeah. Or I mean, he's moving up draft boards. I mean, the boy's 6'4", running 4.28. Mm-hmm. And I've seen some of his highlights and seen some of his film. The guy can cover. One of the reasons, well, some of the debate that they're having about him is that the competition that he faced.
Same thing with Watson. I hate when you do that. I
hate it when you do that. Football player is a football player. Yeah, he may not sit up there and play the upper echelon of talent, but he's still going against guys that's talented. Hell, everybody that's getting drafted is not from a damn D1 school.
No, or a top conference.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at some of the quarterbacks that's been drafted.
Look at all them Cincinnati boys coming out. That wasn't no top conference.
Right. Look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen ain't come from no exceptional D1 school.
Wyoming, right?
Yeah. Wyoming. Neither did Carson Wentz. You know, all these guys don't necessarily. Huh?
North Dakota State.
Yeah. All these guys don't sit up here and come from, you know, top programs, the Michigans, Michigan States, the Ohio States, Alabamas, the LSUs, you know, the Georgias of the world. They come from a little bit of everywhere. And that's what's key. A football player is a football player. Now, do he need a little bit more time to develop? Yeah, and maybe not. We don't know. We won't know until someone drafts the kid and sit up there and get him in training camp. I don't think people thought Randy Moss was going to be who he was.
No, how much pressure do you think Ryan Poles is feeling right now? How much pressure do you think he's feeling right now?
He can shit a diamond.
I'll say this. I think so. When I chat with and thank you guys for following us as always. When I speak on our chats and I'm talking to people on Facebook and things, and we get into some of these debates and stuff, right? I just look at two things. I look at Ryan Poles as the new kid on the block that needs to prove that he knows what he's doing, right? But I also look at Ryan Poles as somebody that has pressure you got to get it right on the first try. And to me, that's unfair because we've had countless GMs that have not gotten it right on the first try. We've had GMs that have spent all of our draft capital for a quote-unquote sure thing. So I think that's unfair to put that type of due pressure on him. But at the same time, he also has a chance to do something that the Bears really don't do, and that's draft that guy. And what I mean by that guy is, hell, Mitch Trubisky, no. Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. We've had multiple chances to draft that guy. And for whatever reason, we don't do it. So he's got a chance to change that narrative from Bears brass to say, okay, and I'm just throwing a name out here, not saying this is what the case was, but we had a chance to draft Randy Moss along with other teams, and we passed by. And now we're kicking ourselves in the tail like, dang, why didn't we draft Randy Moss? You had a chance and he wanted to come here. Why? Why?
Guess who his favorite player was?
Walter Payton. Like I said to you, he wanted to, because remember, he wanted to go to Notre Dame. He wanted to come here. Like, come on, guys. Brian Poles has a chance to get it right. Make that.
I heard someone talk today on radio or ESPN or something, and they were talking about Ryan Pace and what he did. They said the Bears spent so much draft capital, trying to get the right player. Like they said, well, you kind of think about it. The Bears spent the first round pick on Leonard Floyd. Mm-hmm. But they had to go and trade so much draft capital to get Khalil Mack because Leonard Floyd never turned into that player. They stood up there and said that the Bears stood up there and had to go sign Allen Robinson. The reason why they had to go sign Allen Robinson because the Bears spent the first round pick on Kevin White and he never turned into that player.
But neither one of those were the right player at that time. Now,
exactly, and that's what they were saying.
I'm not going to give Leonard Floyd the flux because he's been pretty productive in LA. But
that's the thing, though. But
in LA,
it doesn't matter. It's in LA. It's not here. When he was here, he was playing with just as good of a player on the defensive line as Khalil Mack. He just didn't get it done.
Agreed. Hey,
he didn't get it done.
And don't forget, we had Hicks too.
And he had Akeem Hicks, and he still couldn't get it done. He was a guy. Like I literally have a video of me in Chicago when they had draft day here, and when the Bears picked, they said Leonard Floyd. I literally said, "Who? Leonard Floyd."
So did I.
And Leonard Floyd, he was a good guy at Georgia, but he was never a guy that was exceptional or great at one thing. He was always good to average at everything. He was an average defender when it comes to the pass. He was a good pass rusher. He was average to good against the run. He wasn't no guy that you sit up there and select. Nah, not at all.
No, you know what he was at Georgia? He was fast. He was fast.
If you want to call a 4'6" from a guy that's like probably 6'5", yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
They had him because Georgia had him also on the line, kind of playing that Roosevelt Colvin role when he came over from Purdue, where on third downs he became the edge rusher. That's what
speaking of Georgia, somebody tell me what was the last great Georgia wide receiver that was drafted?
AJ Green?
Riley Ridley.
Exactly.
No, AJ Green.
AJ Green. And that was over 10 years ago.
I was kidding. I kid.
But check it out. I have to say this, humor me. But we have been getting some things wrong. Now we've got a couple things right, Roquan, but we've been getting some things wrong in that first round. Since, to me, Chris Williams, obviously, freaking Gabe Kareem. Hell, the one that got me, Shane McClellan.
Yeah.
Shane McClellan. We passed on. I don't know who that is.
I know who he is. Hey, that dude. Hey, I wouldn't mind if Frank. That dude got a damn boot. He boots 80-yarders on the regular.
But hear me out, Chris, because I'm gonna say some names that you're gonna love. Do you remember Chandler Jones?
Yeah.
Could have had him.
Yeah.
Do you remember Riley Reif?
Riley Reif, yeah, Iowa, yeah.
Could have had him. You remember David DeCastro, G, from Stanford?
Yeah.
Could have had him. Dante Hightower got like 5 Super Bowl rings. Could have had him.
Okay, stop it.
But I'm just okay. I'm gonna stop. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We never get that dude that we know is probably one of those guys. Like, we don't get him, and I don't understand.
Because the Bears always outthink themselves.
But God rest his soul, Cedric Benson, when we got Thomas Jones, like, why? Why?
I have no idea.
Nobody will ever forget.
Kevin White hadn't had a good season since his sophomore year. Why? Chris Williams, Vanderbilt, back messed up. Gabe Karimi, back and leg messed up. Why?
And also, the one thing about Chris Williams, also, he has short arms.
Remember we was talking about that?
Yeah. I mean, hopefully Ryan comes in because when is the draft? Is it tomorrow or Thursday?
It's Thursday, the 28th.
Well, it starts tomorrow. The Bears not going to pick until Friday.
Right.
Okay. Right. So
But
the
I'm
Bears
still gonna
don't.
watch to see who falls. Like,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Bears
So
might fuck around and try to move up. I hope they don't.
I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think that they're gonna do that. The minute he does that, he's gonna get ridiculed for being like Ryan Pace, moving up with very little draft capital. I wouldn't be surprised if he sits up there and tries to move back to get some extra draft picks.
but I think that's a bad idea too because
I think it is too. I
some
think
of
you
that-
stay put what you
I'm
got.
telling you, I know we don't agree on the position, but some of those guys, like when you had an Urlacher available, you had to get that guy. You feel what I'm saying? Like you had to get that guy. You got some guys like that in this draft, man. You got some guys like that in this draft. I remember Mike Martz had came in and had poo-pooed on Greg Olsen. I'm like, dude, Greg Olsen came from Miami. Greg Olsen was a killer. And we just let Greg Olsen, like, you get these guys, and it's like you really, really don't understand when you got one of those generational 10, 12, 15-year guys, dude, you got to get those guys. In modern times, I mean, and I might call me foolish, but the last time I got excited or I felt that the Bears got the first-round wide receiver right was Curtis Conway. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not.
Yeah.
That was way back in '83. Like, tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, I like the Curtis.
But we'll draft Tommy Harris and don't do him right. We draft a Greg Olsen, let him go. Hell, we'll draft a freaking Mark Colombo and he's terrible here, goes down to Dallas and becomes a freaking Pro Bowler. Like, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing, y'all?
Yeah. Well, let's I know we've been talking about the Bears. Let's do some quick Bulls talk and then we can go ahead and get up out of here. Come tomorrow, this shit over with. We might as well. Hey, I'm already start thinking about. All right, so I propose this right here. We can either do one or two things. I know a lot of people, depending on that Utah Jazz series with the Mavericks, there's going to be, if Utah gets put out in that first round, there's going to be some shakeup there in Utah. I know a lot of people want the Bulls to trade for Rudy Gobert. I say don't do it. I say don't do it because for the simple fact, Rudy Gobert, if I'm not mistaken, is either on, I know he's on a max contract, but he may be on a super max contract.
He's not better than Bulls.
He's better defensively. Defensively, he is.
But he ain't really going to give you nothing offensively.
Nah, he's not. He's not going to give you nothing offensively, and that's why I wouldn't make the draft. You could. It's easier to find you a defensive guy that can sit up there and give you some shot blocking and rebounding and play some defense than it is to sit up there and get a big man that can actually go inside and out. That's not something that just grows on trees. They're going to have to make a decision too on Zach. I say give Zach the money. Go ahead and give it to him. Hopefully, I'm not sold on Billy Donovan. That's one of the, if we can fire his ass, I would say fire his ass, but I don't think that they're going to do it. I am not sold on Billy D. I think that he caters to his players too much. I think he should have gotten DeMar DeRozan's ass about him always slowing up the ball because if you notice, the Bulls don't run with him on the court. They don't get up and down. Everything is slowing the ball up and going into the half court, which is the reason why we've been getting the shit beat out of us because we've been allowing Milwaukee to get back and set up their defense. So we got to do something about that. We definitely got to do. I'll say this all season. If you can trade Vooch, you trade him for somebody that's very valuable. If not,
you got to give me some names because position.
I mean, you can try Phoenix for DeAndre Ayton. You might have to. You might have to bring somebody, send somebody else over there.
No, it would have to be a sign and trade the other way because remember he's due for a max as well.
Is DeMar DeRozan going to be a Bull next season?
That's another good question.
I thought. Wait, was he a 2-year deal?
No, he's a 3-year.
Yeah, so he's there for the duration.
I don't know. I mean, I'll put it to you like this: Do you try to make a trade on DeMar DeRozan and bring in somebody valuable?
What are you going to get from them?
I would.
It depends. Depends on what people talking about. I mean, I wouldn't trade him for a guy that's less. But if you sit up here talking about your Lakers, where you got trade DeMar DeRozan, maybe a pick, and maybe a young player for Anthony Davis, it'd be something that I would think about. It definitely would. When you compare
DeMar for Anthony Davis, nor would they accept that trade. I would trade Vooch and a pick and a player for Anthony Davis, but not DeMar.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. And the only reason why I sit up there and say that is because if you trade Vooch for that, Anthony Davis hasn't played enough games, or he doesn't stay healthy long enough for you to sit up there and see. Then now if you do that, now you ain't got no damn big man.
That's why you have to address free agency. You have to look at the draft because actually we do have a first round pick this year.
Yeah, we do.
Got it from the marketing deal, remember? So we get the 18th pick this year, of which I'm hoping they find somebody. But in my opinion, it starts inside out. And to me, like I told you all at the beginning of the season, Vucevic does not fit what Billy Donovan normally does. In these playoff guys, in these 4 games, he's taken 33 threes. 33 threes. Why? And they leave 6'4" Javonte Green down there to rebound.
Well, it's not only that because I've seen more Vooch down there. The thing is that Billy D don't know what the hell he's doing. Because for the simple fact, I seen Vooch down there with 5 damn Milwaukee Bucks while one guy's over there in the corner and the other 3 all the way down there on the other end. So they still need a big. They don't need Devontae Green.
But that's after the fact. If you just humanly go look at the stats, it was one game he took 11 threes. Like, why are you taking so many threes?
They're not feeding him the ball in the post.
Again, if you go back to Donovan's system, he's normally used to a center like a Steven Adams. Then he's used to a stretch 4 like a Serge Ibaka. That's not what the Bulls have. It's actually reversed because, first of all, he don't know what the hell he's doing with Tristan Thompson. I don't even know why they signed him. I honestly don't.
Yeah, that was a waste of time.
They're not using him on offensive glass.
That was the
He's up at the top setting picks. He's up at the top setting picks, not rolling. They using him. They're not even using him for 6 fouls. Like, hell, go pitch somebody. Something. Why is he on the team? And then when I was watching the other day, and I saw him let DeMar dribble the air out the ball for 13 seconds. Go look it up. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Chris. It was at the top of the key 3rd quarter. 13 seconds. Dribble. Come screen. Dribble. Vooch pop. Nothing. Screen. 1-on-2 jumps out. Late in the shot clock. Why? And that goes to show you, if you go back to the tape, they were standing around watching him play hero ball. When Vooch pops, if occasionally let him pop, but occasionally if Vooch took 3 to 4 threes a game, I wouldn't be mad. But roll to the basket sometimes, man.
I told people before this playoffs happened, I said, watch. The Bulls are going to be an early exit because, one, DeMar DeRozan is not the same DeMar DeRozan that he is in the regular season. He's not.
Ball.
Throughout his career, he is not the same player that he is in the regular season. 2, Billy Donovan is going to sit up there and he's going to fuck up. He's gone and done that. 3, he's not being able to adjust. 4, DeMar DeRozan did DeMar DeRozan thing. Dribble, shot.
Hey, look.
Dribble shot. That's what he does. And now that's not coming up. And then I hear everybody getting on Zach LaVine. Oh, well, about Zach LaVine, he's supposed to step up. How the fuck is he going to step up when he's only taking half the shot that DeMar took? Nobody else gets into a rhythm but DeMar.
That's very telling. But something else that I noticed, when Caruso got hurt and got that concussion the other day, they don't have a backup point guard at all.
Oh, Kobe White is ass.
Kobe, and I saw Ayo, he wanted no parts of the point, gave it up, and ran straight to the corner multiple times. So I don't know if that's designed by Donovan or if that's just one of those, get it out my hands, you bring it up. And then Zach was getting stripped. Then Kobe got stripped. Like Drew Holiday is like feasting on them defensively. Feasting.
All season.
Feasting.
Get you two big defensive guys. Two long defensive guys that can block shots, alter shots, grab some rebounds, play some defense. Number two, get rid of Kobe White. Boy got to go. He's too inconsistent. You don't know. Sometimes he got times when he's hot. Then you got times when he's cold as hell. Tell me this.
No, I don't think he's
not only is he timid.
He doesn't know his role.
But not only that, though, tell me this. Kobe White been in the league 3 years now.
Correct.
Can you tell me anything that he's going to get better at?
That 1 year he shot 90% from the free throw line. That's about it.
He hasn't gotten better with his dribble. That's still shaky as hell. Fucking Grayson Allen whipped his ass 2 consecutive possessions coming up the court. His shot is still...
He's a transition ball handler. He's not a setup playmaking point guard.
Exactly. His shot is still erratic. His defense still ain't shit. And he hasn't gotten bigger.
I watched.
Get his ass up out of there.
I watched, and it disgusted me. It soured my stomach, man. I saw that lineup. Kobe and Ayo did not know what to do together. And all Donovan did was this.
Yeah, and chewed his gum.
He doesn't know what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
You go back to the OKC. Look at the tape. Look at the stats. Look at the record. It got worse every year until Chris Paul came there, and Chris Paul gave him a bump. But that still was only like 46 wins.
Yeah.
Oh, no, man. Billy Donovan brought OKC to the finals. That was Scott Brooks. It wasn't Billy Donovan. It was Scott Brooks.
Well, unfortunately, Connemara, this shit gonna be all over, and we're gonna be looking forward to the off season.
Yeah,
so we might as well, so we might as well get into some shout outs.
Hey, Chris, I'm gonna do one better for you. Let's put some pressure on AK to get it right.
Oh, he damn sure got to get it right. He the one fucked up and got Tristan ass. There's probably some chick in Chicago right now knocked up by Tristan Thompson.
No.
And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into some shout outs.
Yeah, you go and lead it off, JB.
So I just want to say, hey, first of all, man, wasn't Kaitlin like just dope? She was getting it in with us, vibing, cussing, carrying on. Like, wasn't that just awesome?
I loved it. Girl power, baby. Girl power.
Sorry, Sherry. We had to take her. Sorry.
Kaitlin was dope. And you know what I really liked is that she felt comfortable enough to totally let her hair down and say whatever the hell she wanted to say.
Yeah. And we loved
it. She felt great being able to do so. So, man, shout out to her. We'd love to have her come back.
That's what this platform is all about.
Man. And shout out, we had a little bit of fan participation, a little low in the comment section tonight. My man Frank was on fire as usual, but
right.
Same thing, good banner, good topics. And hey, shout out to you guys because, like I said, we really had some good in-depth conversation today. Our content was very, very good, very high quality. I like our precision and our in-depth. Basically just knowledge on what we feel the draft is. I hope that the Bears brass share some of the insight that we have. Because if they don't, we didn't see this movie before.
Well, I hope they saw this podcast then.
Oh, they ain't gonna like our ass.
Some of the reports I'm hearing, and like, nah, that guy, except from a man from Texas A&M, I think his name is Green, Kayvon Green, the offensive tackle. But then, if you draft him, then what did you do all the Borum, Jenkins, shifting crap for? Like, come on. So always shout out to moms. SB.
What you drinking, man?
Oh, you know, come on, you know I'm drinking the Terramana. I'm drinking the family.
He had the pinky up and everything.
I'm drinking the family. Shout out to The Rock. I'm drinking the family.
What the hell was that?
Pinky up. So you, Chris.
Oh, okay. First of all, shout out to everybody out there in the chat. Also, remember, everyone, like and subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Shout out to our guest, Kaitlin. She was very insightful. Love the conversation with her, especially her coming from Milwaukee. She was giving us more insight on things as far as like Milwaukee, the differences between Chicago and Milwaukee. Great interview with her today. I really loved it. Girl power. And now, you know, she's one of the ladies out here that's breaking down the barriers for young women out here to get into the broadcasting, where we're not just looking at them as, you know what I'm saying, sex symbols or something, but actually women that are knowledgeable of sports. So great shout out to her. Hope to have her again. Shout out to my family. I don't think my mom was watching tonight because she didn't text me. And I'll probably get a text within the next 10 seconds telling my mama's watching. Of course, shout out to, like I said, everybody to the chat. Shout out to my two brothers, T. Nick, JB. You know, once again, love having you guys, talking to you guys, having you guys on. That was great. Shout out to the kiddies who should be in the bed. But nah, it's like 9:46, so yeah, they probably be up. So shout out to y'all. Also, shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the Bulls, Bears, Sox, Blackhawks. I ain't no Cubs fan, but I'm here. Shout out to the Cubs.
Man, they're doing pretty good.
You know, hey, Chicago sports teams, to you GMs and the goddamn owners, man, come on. We looking like shit right now. This shit fucking depressing. Sitting up here, Sox ass losing 7 games in a row. Don't know what the fuck going on with the Bears. The Bulls look like total shit. The Blackhawks in a rebuild, and the Cubs is the Cubs. So, yeah. Come on, get this shit together, goddammit. We deserve more than this. We pay enough in fucking taxes. And
hey, hire some Chicago guys to get in y'all scouting department or something. Hey.
Yeah, for real. Like, that is my shout outs and that is my rant. It's on you, T. Nick.
All right. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna put that up. I'm gonna try though. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all. Big Frank on fire. Jesse, Silky D was in the house.
Hey.
Silky D was in the house, man.
Had to give Silk some shout out. Had to give Silk some love.
I think Rucker was in the background. He wasn't saying nothing, but he did text me. I do want to give a shout out to Mama. And who else did I miss in the chat? We didn't have that many people in the chat tonight. Come on, people, help us out a little bit. My shit's not working. Shout out to the Radisson Hotel for this shitty ass Wi-Fi that I got that doesn't cooperate. Bullets. I got bullets. He was in the chat.
Always, my brother Bullets. Always.
Who else am I missing? Scott Hopkins. Scott was in there. Appreciate you, Scott. And shit. That's it. I think so. Chat was not on fire tonight, but some people were lurking. Lurking. That means you were in the background. You didn't have shit to say. But that's all right. You didn't have to say shit. As long as you watching, we appreciate y'all too. Thank you.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Next time Silky come on, if you want to jump in real quick and say a few words, I'd love that. Love for Silky to jump in.
You heard that,
yeah.
D? We need you back in here. We need you back in. We need some of that realness, Silky D.
Because that game, when I saw his name pop up, man, I just lit up. I lit up. That's my main man. I lit up. Need Silky back.
That's the realness.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Moores. I'm not drinking any tonight. I'm not.
You gotta get some Moores, man. I'm out.
I might could get you some, but I'm not drinking anything but water. I said last. I'm staying clean. I'm not gonna drink later either, but I am gonna eat because I'm hungry as hell. All I had was an apple for lunch, so I'm sorry. Shout out to Tilly's. Shout out to Tilly's. We always say if you go out to Tilly's, man, just let them know that the clubhouse sent you, and drinks is on me. Who else? It's Time Barbershop. Yeah, he said he might be interested in sponsorship. So we definitely want to shout him out. I got my
I really
my
want a
fade that I
chili
had.
cheese dog right now.
Wait, what you say?
I really
You
want
want
a
a
chili cheese dog right now.
Chili cheese dog.
Hot dog.
The Wiener Circle. The Wiener Circle.
See that live?
Yeah. I got it.
Hey, shout out to the Winner Circle. I went out there, old girl cussed she didn't cuss me out, but she did cuss some other people out. That shit be funny.
So the Winner Circle actually watches. I think they watch, or they started following us on Instagram. But definitely check out the Winner Circle. You will love it because how fun as hell they burst you the hell. But you'll get
And don't take it personal.
Good burger. No, don't take it personal. Don't get in your feelings because they will curse your ass out.
That's like Ed DeBevics. Remember Ed DeBevics?
Yeah. Yep. Ed DeBevics, they would be nasty. They would just be
Good
nasty.
food too.
Fuck you on. Yeah, food was straight. Food was straight.
Hey, shout out to T Nick for not drinking, baby.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. I gotta stay off that medicine for a while. I need to stay off that medicine for a while. It's not doing me any good. It's not doing me any good. Shout out to you all, the family, people in the chat. You all are CCP family, but any blood family that I have in the chat, I appreciate y'all, but I usually don't. I usually don't have any blood family in the chat. But if I do, appreciate it. Chosen Few Picnic is coming up. Chosen Few Picnic is coming up. Mark your calendar 7/2. We will have tents there. You will be able to see us. We'll have a banner. The picnic is going to be dope as always. We actually had one of the Chosen Few DJs on the podcast, Jesse Saunders.
Mm-hmm.
He was on here
last year, right?
Yeah, that was last year. If you didn't check out the episode, check it out. He dropped some gems. And you might think differently about Farley, although Farley is cold. But he kind of told the story of how Farley started out. So it's pretty dope. It's fun. So check that out. Remember to like and subscribe. Share with all your people. that this is one of the most entertaining sports podcasts in Chicago. In Chicago, authentically Chicago. I ain't talking about somewhere else. I ain't talking about another state. I ain't talking about overseas. I'm talking about in Chicago.
No transplants.
Right. Not dissing anybody else that's not in Chicago. I'm not dissing them, but they ain't in Chicago, so they might not be able to give you the real insight like we don't give. Let's see, what else do I have to say? I think that's about it. So in parting, I will say, man, the stat man knows every single stat since the 80s and 90s basketball and football. And for my man who has the foulest fucking mouth in the city, foul mouth C, I am Nick, point guard, quarterback, whichever the fuck y'all want to call me. And we out.
We out.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production. We out.
We out.